So, in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 ways on how to deal with anxiety. Right? Anxiety is a topic that's pretty normal now, and it affects a lot of us, whether we know it or not. But it all depends on how you deal with it because it can creep up with you. But, anyways, let's begin with the first rule here. First rule is stop fighting it, right? Anxiety is normal. It's everybody has it. I haven't met any person that doesn't have it. But you got to learn how to understand your anxiety. Where is it coming from? What triggers it? These are things that you always have to ask yourself as you are, living life or going through something because it will catch up to you. I mean, I don't care how strong you are, mentally tough, physically tough, it doesn't matter, right? Because problems are there, anxiety always rises. But the way you deal with anxiety here is that you just stop fighting it, right? What it is, you let it in and you sort of question why what are the things that makes you anxious because once you figure that out, then you're able to attack the issue, right? Let's say if it's for a test or loss of job or something like that, and you're just uncertain of the future. Well, that's pretty common, right? And it's okay because everybody gets into a bind to where um, they never think they're gonna make it out, right? They're never gonna see the other side, but it always works out in the end if you really study your life. Just like my life is like those dark moments or those never-ending cycles. Just it doesn't matter right now because back then led me to now. So what makes you think that in the future you're not gonna, you're gonna let go of anxiety and get over the issue? But to attack how to deal with anxiety is to basically question um, the issue at large, right? Because anxiety can really creep up on you, make you a different person, and just ruin relationships as well. But you have to stop fighting it. You have to understand it, let it in, and just cope with it, I guess, is the main word I will use here. But that's rule number one. So, rule number two is a pretty simple one, but I emphasize it in all my other videos. You can only control what you can control, right? This world is so big, and people get upset and just have emotions and rants, and it's dumb to think that way because you are in charge of yourself. That is it. You're not in charge of anybody else. Don't let people, try to put their feelings or perspective on you. But the way you deal with this is that you can write it down. You journal and say, these are the things I can control and these are the things I can't control. That doesn't mean let go and let it, all fall apart. What I'm saying is that you can control working out. You can control eating habits. You can control just positive thinking, right? Those are all things you can choose as an individual, which will make you better. Um, the thing is, it's like people worry about things they can't control, which is the weather or other people's emotions, other people's reactions, what they're going to think, stuff like that. So, in the end, it's important to sit there and really question what you can and can't control, right? Because that's how anxiety creeps up to where it just makes life uncomfortable. You're always anxious. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. And we build these scenarios in our head that we think we understand ourselves. But, in the end, I think we play mind tricks with ourselves. Seneca says it best that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. And that's 100% true because even for me, right? Just I want everything to work out and I have this image in my head and I want it to come to life and sometimes it doesn't or it does just in a different way. So embrace life, embrace the moment, but only control what you can control. The Stoics are real big on this. Once you understand this, life gets pretty simple, right? It doesn't get easy. I don't think it gets easier. It just you're able to bear it better to where now you understand the rules of the game, right? The rules of life. But as you go on this journey, you just have to sit there and say, okay, is this something I can control? Is this something I can't control? And just go from there, right? Just leave it alone. But let's go on to the next rule, which would be reduce overstimulation. All right. So the thing with this is that this is the number one rule I think everybody breaks, even myself. Social media has us, thinking for us and living for us and coexistence and do this and eat this and wear this. You have to lower that down, right? Because we get bombarded with commercials, just overstimulation and think this way and this is going to make you feel this way and you're just constantly nonstop. And so your brain is meant for like creative thinking, just it's a wonderful organ. The thing is, people, when you are constantly bombarded with social media posts, right, whether it's happy, sad, jealous of someone else's lifestyle, you're sort of like diluting your lifestyle, because what it is that comparison is the thief of joy, right? It's going to take away what you already have. So just to give you an example, if you have a car, be grateful of that vehicle, right? Because there's some people that don't have cars, they're still on bikes, they're walking, and this is simple. But you see somebody else with a higher end car or a fancier car, then you get jealous, right? You're like, oh, I want something more expensive and I deserve it. Or why does that person get to drive that? And then you start diminishing your life, right? Because now you're never enough. But on top of that, it just creates anxiety to where it's unnecessary. So that's a simple, basic example I can give, of when you compare. But back to reducing overstimulation. In my videos, if you can tell, even on this one, right? I don't have anything in the background because I want you to stay focused. I want you to stay engaged with me because we are talking about a serious topic here of how to reduce anxiety. And it's one of those things that I guess I do it too. And we're scanning the video, what's in the background, what is he saying, stuff like that. But in the end, it's the reason you click this video is to get value, right? To get, to understand the topic in itself of how to deal with anxiety. But I can't have lasers and smokes and mirrors and stuff like that. I mean, this is YouTube. Everybody has different channels, but that's part of me lowering your nervous system. So I hope you enjoy my videos. They're very, very in tune with, trying to send the message, and spread the message, but reduce overstimulation. And this is not only just cell phones and phone addictions. This is TV. Go outside, pick up a book, have an intimate conversation, put your phone down. Sometimes the way I deal with this is my phone, I go charge it into another room, right? Because once it's charging, I can't pick it up. And yeah, you can, but it just stays in the other room. And I feel so free, so relieved when I walk into the outside or in the other room, because I don't have access to my phone and I can think for myself. And for me, like I said, that reduces anxiety. It reduces overstimulation, which can help you in the end, especially with your nervous system. Understand your central nervous system, right? Because every time, every moment, just dopamine hits, and that's not what we're wired for. But anyways, on to the next one is you got to move your body, right? Go to the gym, go run, even a simple walk outside, get sunshine on your skin. It helps with vitamin D. These are basics you have to understand, but they're so beneficial to reduce anxiety. And I think this is one that a lot of modern society just doesn't have access to. Because think about it, you're in your house, you're asleep, you have central air conditioning, then you go to work, then you're under fluorescent light, you're in air condition as well in an office building, and then you go home, you drive in your car in your AC, it's controlled, temperature. So your body's just like in this autopilot mode to where nothing just not stimulates it, but it just challenges it to where it grows. And this is where you have to move your body because whether you're staying home watching Netflix or whatever, just resting. Now you go to work and you're sitting down. If if you have an office job, but you go home and then you sit down, so your body's just like there's nothing there to reduce the anxiety. And one of the things I read was anxiety is just trapped energy, right? The way to get over it, you have to move. You have to take a walk, go for a bike ride, um, go to the gym. Simple things, put in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you need to help you relieve the anxiety. That's why you feel better after that run or just going to the gym, going for the walk with your friend, having good conversations, get that body moving because that's the only way you're going to lower your anxiety. Now, the last rule is change your relationship with your thoughts. All right, so here we go. This is the one where this channel always thinking mindset. Everything's a mindset, right? You can look at the cup half empty or you can look at the cup half full. You're both right, right? But what makes you righter, I don't even think that's a word, but what makes you just have a positive way of thinking is half full, right? Because it takes the same amount of energy to think positive than it does to think negative. And this isn't some juju stuff, and you call on to the positive gods and stuff like that. It's just the way of thinking. And I've met really great people that just have a correct mindset about stuff. Like when there's an issue, they know how to deal with it. They don't panic and go to craziness and lash out on others, and you don't understand. And majority that do, they know how to overcome that issue, which makes them this just resistance resilient person. And you respect people like that because they've seen a lot of problems. It's just they know how to deal with it. And I've always wanted to hang out with people like that because show me your ways, right? Like what are you doing that I need to learn and deal with life. But yeah, change your relationship with your thoughts. Your mind is so powerful, and I don't think I emphasize that enough in some of these videos. But your mind is so powerful, right? It can make and break you. It can help your relationship. It can hurt your relationship. Just it can hurt your body. I mean, you get depressed. You start sinking into that whole coma stage. But get out of your head. That's the main message, right? That's how you reduce anxiety. Because what is anxiety? I like the definition that it's just trapped energy because in the end we have to release it, right? There's so much coming at us every day in life, and we just get upset sometimes. I don't think we were meant for this kind of world, whether it's commercials, cell phones, social media. Um, it, life was heavy back then. Now I can imagine now with instant, gratification, instant text. So it's like instant nervous system, just boom. So you have to learn how to distance itself. But yeah, change your relationship with your thoughts. Your thoughts are precious. Read books, read self help books, better books. I mean, I got a whole list of books over here, but those are your 5 ways of how to deal with anxiety. They're pretty basic, but the thing is, I just want you to get my perspective because I've been doing this a while. I think I can share and articulate better because I've been there, done that, and I've seen it before to where now you're not scared of it no more. You just learn how to deal with it and you'll come out. Don't worry, you'll come out at the end of the tunnel. But just an outro again on this video is that anxiety, problems, issues, they're always going to be there, right? I don't think I've met somebody with no anxiety, right? Like as far as being nervous or just having a bad thought. But it's how you deal with it, right? Those are the champions, those are the leaders, the ones that take action, and just not stay in their head, locked in their head all the time. Action leads to just a greater depth and just living life because you're not just sitting there on the sideline. You're actually in the game. So you have to take action to get rid of anxiety. But yeah, let me know in the comments below How do you deal with anxiety? I mean, there's plenty of people that deal with anxiety differently, whether it's, sex, drugs, chocolate, coffee, you name it. I mean, it's like somebody always creates an outlet of how they get rid of anxiety, and which is a bad thing or a good thing. In the end, it's basically on you and how to get over anxiety, but it takes action. And I hope these 5 tips helped you out in your journey in life. And like I said, uh, check my other videos out. They do talk out with anything. I mean, that's just the point of this channel. But let me know what you think in the comments below. You already know what to do. And as always, we will speak soon.